Reading from chapter 1 in my first book, Silent Suffering. When I was 9 years old, I didn't know that my entire life would be flipped upside down, all because of a tick I don't even remember getting bitten by. I couldn't foresee my bubbly social self slowly becoming isolated or facing depression that threatened to take me down into its dark vortex, never to see daylight again. I didn't get a warning light or a letter in the mail notifying me that I would be fighting with every fiber in my being every day, only to get results that felt like punishment with little to no relief. That I have to move on my own to other states and even another country for Lyme disease treatment, or that my body would be forced to use a wheelchair at 26 years old. What I also didn't know was that I'd have countless amounts of people from all walks of life praying alongside me, supporting me, reminding me who I was in God's eyes, and showing me glimpses of Jesus all along the way. I didn't know that God wanted to show me his love in the most intricate of ways, in ways that I don't see how would have been possible without the suffering. I had no idea how much my life would be drenched in God's redemption and grace amidst pain. My life would be challenging beyond belief, but it'd also be rich, raw, and authentic. A life that when I'm old and gray, I'll be grateful to God that he entrusted me with, to know that he could turn it into something good. For years, suffering was not a word that I liked to use when describing my life. I thought it implied pity, but it doesn't. It's a massive part of my story, and hundreds of millions of other people's stories too. It's probably a part of your story as well. We're in good company because it was also a huge part of Jesus' story as he walked this earth. He knows suffering, he doesn't run away from it, and he doesn't deny it, even when it's a silent suffering. He makes himself available to us for wisdom, guidance, comfort, and an abundance of other needs we have in our wildernesses. If you're anything like me, you want more meaning in the suffering. You don't want to be consumed by the pain. You want your valley seasons to be valleys of depth. I don't mean depth like posting something vulnerable on Instagram that gets a bunch of likes. I mean depth in our relationship with the Lord, purpose, growth, and true meaning that comes from the giver of life. Dealing with an isolating disease has created a stronger desire in my heart for genuine relationships that go beneath the surface. These relationships tend to be the ones that last. They're the ones that are there for people through their tragedies. They're the ones that simply give people permission to be seen exactly as they are, because when we're seen by one another for who we truly are, then we can love and be loved by one another authentically. Being seen in our suffering is much harder to do than be seen when we're doing well, because we are delicately vulnerable in this place. Our lives look nothing like we envision them to, and it's scary to allow anyone into that space. We're tired of waiting, so we shut ourselves in our bedrooms because we'd rather be seen when the suffering is over. I'm wrestling between letting myself be seen in my suffering and being a recluse who's shut off from the rest of the world, because it feels much easier that way sometimes. I want to wait to share my life with people until I'm completely healed, but I've come to see that we don't have to wait to share our testimonies until we're fully healed. We don't have to wait to live our lives until we're fully healed. I still believe God is using my suffering. Even still, some of the trials I've walked through have made absolutely no sense and made me question everything. I've yearned for resolve, answers, and apologies that may never take place. My heart is to bring you along on a journey toward wholeness that I'm still struggling to walk through it as you read the pages to follow. I'm not offering another Bible study or another diet that healed all my ailments, or another form of treatment that I think everyone needs to try. What I have to offer are stories that I believe all point back to the Creator, hoping that as you read these stories, you are encouraged and reminded of how faithful our God is.